All right, let's dive right in. Today we're taking a deep dive into the 10X rule by Grant Cardone.
Oh, this is gonna be
It
good.
is, right? Especially for you life coaches and corporate trainers out there.
Sure.
Imagine what you could achieve if you could help your clients get like 10 times their results.
10 times, huh? That's a big jump.
It is, but that's what we're exploring.
All right, I'm ready.
Cardone's book really breaks down why people fall short.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, he says a lot of it is underestimating the effort it takes to actually reach success.
Okay, I've seen that for sure.
And their actions don't match that level of ambition.
Right, makes sense.
Like if you were training for a marathon but only put in the effort of a light jog,
You're not gonna get very far.
exactly, you hit those plateaus.
Exactly.
And Cardone uses this really great example from the housing crisis.
Oh, yeah, tell me about that.
He talks about how so many people just weren't ready for the financial commitment of owning a home.
Ah, they were prepared.
Yeah, and they were more focused on keeping up with everyone else
Yeah.
than reaching real financial stability.
It's that keeping up with the Joneses kind of mentality.
Right. Just settling for good enough.
Instead of going for that dominant position.
Exactly.
I like that.
And that brings us to one of the most interesting ideas in the book. Success as an ethical duty.
Whoa, okay, that's a new one.
I know, right? As coaches, this really hit home for me.
Yeah, how so?
So Cardone's argument is that not really striving for significant success, it's almost unethical because he says we all have this responsibility to fulfill our potential.
Okay, so not going for it is almost
Like we're not living up to our potential.
right, I see.
And think about how often do we tell clients to find balance or just be content?
Yeah, all the time.
But Cardone says that kind of complacency robs us of all the things we could be contributing if we really stepped into our power.
So how do we guide clients towards that level of self-belief?
Right. It's a big shift, isn't it?
It is.
It's about helping them see success, not as something they just personally want, but as something they kind of owe to themselves and the world.
Yeah, like a responsibility.
Exactly. And I'd love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
What would it look like for your clients to truly believe in their ability to make a difference?
Good question.
Now, here's where things get really interesting.
All right, I'm listening.
Cardone completely debunks this whole idea of limited resources.
Okay, so he's all about abundance then.
Yes. He says there's no shortage of success or money or opportunities.
It's just about mindset then.
The only shortage he sees is people willing to do the work.
Makes you think, huh?
And he tells this funny story about his neighbor.
Ah, I love a good story.
His neighbor's a really famous actor,
No way.
and their street is just full of potholes.
Oh, no.
And another neighbor suggested that the actor should fix it just because he's wealthy.
What? Just because he's got money?
I know, right? And it perfectly illustrates that scarcity thinking.
Yeah, that they have enough, so there's less for me.
Exactly. And Cardone emphasizes that success for anyone actually benefits everyone.
Because it shows what's possible.
Yeah, it raises the bar.
I like that.
It's like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Totally.
So if we buy into this abundance, what's stopping us from those 10x results?
Yeah, what is it?
Well, according to Cardone, one of the biggest things is fear.
Oh, fear, the big one.
And this is where it gets really cool.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
He doesn't see fear as something to avoid.
You mean like we should embrace it?
He actually sees it as a guide.
As a guide, how so?
He says fear points you in the direction of the actions you need to take.
So if you're afraid to do something.
That means you should probably do it.
That's interesting.
Like it's highlighting an area where you can grow.
Oh, I see.
As coaches, we often help clients reframe fear, but Cardone takes it a step further.
Okay, how does he approach it?
Speed and momentum are key.
Oh, so like don't wait around.
Exactly. He says the more time you spend on your fears, the stronger they get.
Makes sense.
So act fast, conquer them, don't overthink it.
Just do it.
If you're scared to cold call a client, pick up the phone and dial.
No hesitation.
And that brings us to another area where 10x thinking can really transform your coaching. Time management.
Time management, always a hot topic.
Cardone has some really unique ideas about it.
Oh, like what?
He says time isn't something you manage, it's something you multiply.
Multiply. That's interesting.
And you do that by accomplishing more in the time you already have.
So efficiency.
Think prioritizing, delegating, working with intention.
Okay, I see.
So I know a lot of you are already guiding clients on these things, but what specific things from the book can we apply to our coaching?
Yeah, good question.
Well, Cardone talks about how he shifted his own schedule, which is super busy, to spend quality time with his daughter.
Oh, wow. Even with his crazy schedule.
Yeah, he carved out those non-negotiable times.
That's impressive.
It proves that even the busiest people can make time for what matters.
It's about priorities.
Being intentional, making conscious choices.
Love that.
And that actually ties into another 10X principle, embracing criticism.
Okay, criticism, how do we deal with that?
Cardone has this amazing take on it.
Tell me.
He says criticism is going to happen, especially when you're on the path to success.
It comes with the territory, right?
And it's actually a good sign, a badge of honor.
So don't let it get you down.
As coaches, we can help clients see criticism as feedback, as fuel.
Not a reason to give up.
Exactly. It's part of the journey.
I like that perspective.
Now get ready for this because Cardone makes this bold statement about customer acquisition versus customer satisfaction.
Oh, interesting. Especially for coaches.
I know, it might seem counterintuitive.
Yeah, how so?
He says the most important goal for any business, and that includes coaching, is to acquire more customers.
Okay, so focus on getting them in the door first.
He believes that satisfaction will follow naturally if you deliver great value.
So you can't satisfy customers if you don't have any to begin with.
Exactly. The focus should be on getting your message out there, expanding your reach.
But what about building a good reputation, providing great service?
He's definitely not against that.
Okay, good.
He's a big proponent of over-delivering.
Right.
But his point is, acquisition has to come first.
It's the foundation?
Because it lets you serve more people, have a bigger impact.
Instead of fighting for a bigger slice of a small pie.
You're expanding the whole pie.
Love that analogy.
And that leads us to this concept of omnipresence, which is so relevant for coaches building their business.
Omnipresence. I like the sound of that.
Cardone believes successful people are everywhere.
They're visible. They're out there.
They don't shy away from it. They embrace it.
Like building a brand.
Creating a strong brand, being seen as an expert in your field.
And he used his own experience as an example, right?
Yeah, he talks about going all in on promoting his message.
And what happened?
It led to all this unexpected recognition and opened up doors he never imagined.
That's powerful.
And such a powerful message for you guys listening.
Actually, for coaches.
You have valuable knowledge. Don't be afraid to share it. To be seen as the expert.
I own that space.
Attract those ideal clients.
Exactly.
It's so inspiring to see someone actually living out those principles, not just talking about them.
Right, walking the walk.
And it makes you realize, maybe those 10X results really are possible.
It's about pushing those boundaries.
And that actually leads us to a really interesting point that Cardone makes about, well, it might sound a little counterintuitive, especially for us coaches.
Oh, what's that?
It's this whole idea of customer acquisition versus customer satisfaction.
Interesting. How so?
Well, he says, and get ready for this, he says the most important goal for any business, including coaching, is to actually acquire more customers.
Okay, so it's about getting those clients in the door first.
Exactly. He believes that the satisfaction part will naturally follow.
If you're providing that amazing value.
Right, because you can't have satisfied customers if you don't have any customers to begin with.
Right, that makes sense. You got to build that foundation.
And he's not saying, neglect your existing clients or anything like that.
No, of course not.
He's a huge advocate for exceeding expectations, over-delivering.
Right, like going above and beyond.
But his point is that acquisition has to be the priority because it allows you to reach more people.
It's like expanding the pie, not just fighting for a bigger slice.
Exactly. You're serving more people, having a bigger impact.
And that ties in really well with the concept of omnipresence that he talks about.
Right, which is so crucial for coaches who are building their businesses.
Absolutely. He says successful people and businesses are everywhere.
They're visible.
They're out there making their mark.
They're not afraid to put themselves out there.
To be seen as the go-to expert.
Exactly. And they've created a strong brand presence.
So for coaches, it's about establishing themselves as that trusted voice in their niche.
Right. And there are so many ways to do that these days.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You've got social media, creating valuable content, writing blog posts,
hosting webinars, speaking at events,
collaborating with other experts.
It's about being strategic and showing up consistently.
And speaking of coaches who are really embracing this whole 10X philosophy.
Oh, yeah. Who are we highlighting today?
We wanted to shine a spotlight on Rahul Garg.
Rahul Garg, tell me more.
He's a productivity coach based in India.
Productivity, that's a big one for a lot of people.
And he's incorporated these 10X principles into his coaching practice in such a powerful way.
So he's helping clients set those big, ambitious goals.
breaking through those limiting beliefs.
And taking massive action.
Exactly. It's about shifting your mindset, not just learning a few tips and tricks.
It's about that deep inner transformation.
And for those of you who are ready to take your productivity to the next level,
we've got something special.
Rahul is actually offering a free complimentary coaching call to our listeners.
That's awesome.
You can find his email address in the description below.
It's a great chance to connect with a coach who's really living this 10X life.
And see how it can apply to your own life and work.
I love it. So, before we wrap up this deep dive,
let's distill some of the key takeaways.
Specifically for our life coaches and corporate trainers out there.
What are those big actionable things you can start using today?
Well, first and foremost, embrace 10X thinking.
Encourage your clients to set those big, audacious goals.
And help them create a plan of action, massive action.
Remember, most people underestimate what they're truly capable of.
So as coaches, we have to help them break free from those limitations.
Absolutely. And what else? What's another key principle?
Help your clients reframe their fear.
Don't let it hold them back.
See it as a compass pointing them towards growth.
It's like fear is that signpost, showing you the way to go.
Not a stop sign, more like a green light.
And as coaches, we can help our clients really take those actions, even when they're scared.
Step into that courage and determination.
So what other things from the 10X rule can we bring into our coaching?
Well, time multiplication. That's a big one.
Time multiplication, right?
Got to help those clients become masters of their time.
It's not just about fitting more in, though.
No, it's about working smarter, not harder.
Prioritizing, right?
Exactly. Delegating those tasks that don't need their direct attention.
And working with focus. Making space for those activities that really make a difference.
That's all about impact.
And I love that Cardone talks about it as time multiplication instead of time management.
It's a whole different way of looking at it.
More empowering, right?
Absolutely.
So what's our final takeaway for today?
Let's talk about building an omnipresent brand.
Omnipresent brand, that's a good one.
Especially for coaches in this digital world, gotta be visible.
Help your clients become thought leaders. Attract those ideal clients. And it's not about doing everything at once.
Start small, be consistent.
Share great content, connect with your audience.
Collaborate, be visible.
Now, for a little homework.
Ooh, I like homework.
I want you all to think about one limiting belief.
Could be your own, or maybe one you see in a client.
Anything, fear of failure, scarcity mindset.
Self-doubt, maybe that feeling like you don't deserve success.
Once you've identified it, we challenge you. Take 10X action in that area this week.
Push past that comfort zone, see what happens.
What shifts, what breakthroughs.
Share your experiences in the comments. We want to hear from you.
Let's keep this conversation going.
Absolutely.
Share your thoughts on 10X thinking, especially from that coaching perspective.
Let's build a community here.
Support each other on this journey.
Growth, expansion, all those amazing achievements.
Before we sign off, Cardone leaves us with this powerful thought.
I'm ready.
He says, success is not something that happens to you. It's something that happens because of you.
We are the architects of our own success.
It's about taking ownership, creating the life and business you want.
Stepping into that power.
So if we really embrace this 10X rule,
think bigger, act bolder.
What impossible goals could we achieve?
The sky's the limit.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the 10X rule.
It's been a pleasure.
Remember, success is your duty, your responsibility.
Go out there and make it happen.
Until next time, keep thinking big and taking massive action.
We'll see you then.